Yeah,
Hi,
Rahul.
good evening, Kumar.
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening, Rudolph.
Yeah, good evening, Kumar.
Right, thank you. Wali, can you hear me? You can unmute? Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I can
great.
hear you.
Okay, right. Yeah. Now you can keep the mics mute. Whenever you want to raise something, you can unmute the mics and work it out because that will make the class much more clearer. So, yeah, I welcome, at the moment we are three, I don't know how many people are there, but I welcome all of you all for, I think yesterday you all had a session with Anju. So, let me introduce me, I'm Kumar, I'm from Sri Lanka. I have been doing this case studies for a long time now, for last 7, 8, 9 years, I think, with the top CIMA. And now from 2015 onwards on the strategic, managerial and operational case studies. So I hope that you all will get some benefit out of this. Anytime you all are free to disturb me, you can either come on the chat box or you can always unmute your mic and ask whatever the questions, whatever we have. This is the second batch we are doing with Ultimate Access. We have another batch on separate days, and this is the second batch, and there's a third batch also. So let me, I think yesterday you all did something on the case study analysis. I'm not going to go too much onto the analysis. I'm sure Anju will do all that part of the work. But let me just introduce this case study to you from the exam point of view. Y'all can tell me if any of y'all have sat for the exam earlier, the case study. Rahul, did you sit for the exam anywhere earlier for the first time?
This is the first time.
Okay, Rudolph?
First time.
Okay, Wali?
Third time.
Yeah, you're doing it for the first time?
No, it's third time.
Third time, okay. So you would have done the Dream Park also, did you do it?
Yeah, I did it and I did Rio as well.
Oh, Rio and Dream Park. Okay, no problem. Right. So, Wali probably surely have a little bit experience, but Rahul and Rudolph is something new. I want all three of you all to understand this case study thing. Please, please don't take it as an exam. The moment you think it is an exam, it's a heavy stress on your head. You are not going to get anywhere. Think you are working for this company called AEN. That is why the pre-scene is given. And remember your role all the time. In the pre-scene, you are given your role. So you must understand your role very clearly. Let's look at your role. You are the senior manager who works in the finance function for this company called Alternative Energy Consulting, and you report directly to the board and advise on special projects and strategic matters. So please, I want you all to understand your role. You are a very, very senior person. You are working not with the ordinary managers, you are working with the board of directors. So your advice is sought by the people who take strategic decisions. So simply, you must be at a very top level. You must have that mentality when you go for this 3-hour paper. And why I say it is not an exam, or rather don't take it as an exam, think always, all of y'all, whoever you're working in offices, what is called the office pressure. Suddenly your boss comes up and says, hey Rudolph, I need this information within 1 hour. You have no option. You must crack your brain, give the information within 1 hour. You can't say I want 2 hours, right? Because the office pressure is so much. 12 o'clock in the midnight, your phone will ring and will say, tomorrow morning by 5 o'clock, I want this information. In deep sleep, you still have to prepare this. That is the reality of our office job today. And because of that thing, this paper is basically purely a practical paper, I would say. It's the day-to-day problems that you will come across all the time in various forms. So, Yeah, I see some other people joining now. We have Krishant. Yeah, Krishant has joined, but he has not yet connected to the sound. We'll connect to the sound. And also we have Atir. Please connect your sounds. Yeah. Okay. Right. So basically, now I'm sure all of you all have read this pre-scene at least once. Am I correct, Rahul? Rahul, have you read the pre-scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have read it.
Right. My culture or my way of looking from now onwards till the exam day, we have all our religious beliefs, maybe the Bible, maybe the Quran or whatever it may be, you must be reading it daily. Same way, I want all of y'all to read this pre-scene on a daily basis. Right? Read it, read it. When you read it, you will find something new in this company. And remember, when you go to that office, when you go to that exam, you are basically, you know this company very well. When the examiner says Luke, you are not going to look at the pre-scene and try to find out who Luke is. You are not going to look at the thing and find out who the finance director is. Everything will be in this thing, and you need to get to know the company very well. So I'm going to go along with certain few things which my experience, my thought, because this exam now we have had started with Luke, and I think that there was the Sleek, and then there was Wood, I think, then there was the Rio, Dream Park. So about 6 exams have happened already, and we are now into the 7th exam, I think. So we have some idea of the type of things what they will be looking at, and with the experience, the first look was very tough for us. No one knew exactly what it was. Just a minute, I think both two people, Ati and Prashant, is finding difficult to join me. Recording this lesson, you can have this lesson after once I finish it. Right, okay. Atir, I think you can hear me now? Yeah, okay. Right. So, looking again, I just want to look at this company and try to discuss few things with you, and after that I want to go straight into the mocks. This is what I try to do. Already in your Dropbox, there are 3 mocks which I have done. A in mock 1, A in mock 2, A in mock 3. So if you all don't know the link for the Dropbox, I think Anju has written a mail. There you can find out. I have already put 3 possible marks which can come up out of this paper. One thing that you will realize, as I said, you all are free to disturb me at any moment. You can just unmute your mic and talk to me, or you can chat over your chat box. Either way, I will respond to you all. Here, we are a consultancy company. And whoever Walid said that you have sat for the exam twice, probably all 3 times, all 2 times, what you would have realized, the exam was all about a listed company, I think. This is the first time we are coming out with an unlisted company, to best of my knowledge. Unlisted company. What do you mean by unlisted company? Unlisted company means there is a good possibility they will ask you about going for listing. So, a little bit of a hint for all of you all. Try to look at your screen and see the ways and means how you can go for listing. Because you are advising the board, they might come and ask to Rahul, hey, we are thinking of going listing. Within 1 hour, can you give me a little bit of a paper about your views, how we should go with listing, whether we should go listing or not, something like that. And remember, this paper is marked out of 150. This paper is marked out of 150. Out of 150, you have to collect 90 marks to get through the paper. It's a 3-hour paper. There are 3 sections. Normally it is 60 minutes, 60 minutes, 60 minutes. You will not see the second section till you complete the first section. So if there is 60 minutes, you must utilize the entire 60 minutes for the first section, because even if you save 10 minutes, you can't carry forward it for the next section. So those who are sitting for the paper for the first time, remember, whatever, normally it is 180, normally it is 60, 60, 60, it can be 75, 60, and 45 or whatever. There are 3 sections all the time. You will not see the second section till you complete the first section, and the time that is given, the maximum you are spending, you can't spend anything extra on that one. On the 60th minute, the screen will disappear and the new screen will appear. Even if you do it in 50 minutes, the second screen will come, but second screen will only give you 60, not 70 minutes. So remember that one. So use the maximum time that is given for the section. It is given in the exam. At the very beginning, it will say section 1, 60 or 75 or whatever it may be. As I said, the paper is marked out of 150. There are 4 particular skills that is on you. Technical, business, leadership, and people skills. So remember, it is 25% for all these areas. So you will be 37.5, 37.5, 37.5, 150 marks you have to get in these 4 competency skills areas: technical, business, leadership, and people. And in each area, you must score 60%. So of the 37.5, 60% is 22.5. Minimum you must score that one. So this is how you should get your 90. Even if you get, say, 30 on technical, all right. On business, if you get 20, maybe on leadership you get 25, maybe on people you get 25. You can see you got 100, but still you will fail the exam because you have not collected enough marks on business skill. So this is in a way, unfortunate thing, the way that they mark the paper. So it doesn't matter whether you get 100 or 110, unless you have got the particular marks on that particular area, you will not collect your pass mark. So you have to be very, very competent on the 4 skills. So I'm sure yesterday Auntie would have touched on this one, but I want to repeat it. Technical means you must always talk few models. So remember, in your F3, E3, P3, we have learned lot of models, like the SWOT analysis, like the PESTEL, like the Michael Porter, like the ANSOF, like the Johnston and Scores suitability, acceptability, feasibility. We must always apply some of the models. Mendelow's, they are the common ones. Couple of things is good enough. You don't need to learn everything. That change strategy, freeze, defreeze, unfreeze. Couple of E3 models will be very helpful. Business skills means whatever you're ultimately suggested should be something, not theory, because this is, as I said, it's a pure office matter. It must be something practical which they can do. Now, for example, I can remember in top CIMA there was a question where they had some financial difficulty company, They could either get overdraft, they could go and ask the customer. Normally, you are given 60 days credit. You can ask the customers to pay in 30 days. Customer advances or something like that. You can ask 30 days, or you can go for factoring and get money. Overdraft is very costly. We know overdraft is costly. Factoring also costly. If you can ask the customer to pay much early, on financial point of view, that's a very good proposal. But that's not a good business proposal. Because if you go and ask your customers early money, when you have promised him that you will give 60 days credit, if you can ask money early from the customer will wonder, wow, this company is having financial difficulties. And that's not a good business proposal. So just don't look at the figures. We must be very practical whenever we think of our proposals. Then the leadership. Leadership means whenever the examiner asks or not, you must make a recommendation. Whenever he asks for your views, please give a recommendation. And that is your leadership. You believe this can be done and this is the way it should be done, and you must justify your recommendation. That was the top CIMA model which the examiner is using today also. So you must always justify your recommendation and also give probably few action plans. Now, if it's a big proposal, right, you probably want to tell, let's discuss it at the board level. Maybe brainstorm. Maybe we will take it up with the bankers and see whether they are prepared to give us money. That kind of leadership skills are the thing that is expected of a senior level like you and me. Then the people skills. That is basically your communication. Imagine you're working in this company, you find something very exciting, something that is going to prosper the company. Now, obviously, you must be very, very happy about it. You must be very happy about it because that is something that is going to, you're working in the company, you're a senior manager, and say some new award has come to you, and that will make you happy. Similarly, if it is something that is, trade union protest, something which is going to be real troublesome, you will be showing that emotion. Now, this is what we call the people skill. So what I want is, I want you all to think about these things very seriously when you draft the answer. If you can cover up all these things, I can guarantee you your results will be there. Few things what you need to do, always next couple of days till the exam, take 15 minutes, read the pre-scene. Try to understand that company very well. If we have little time, go to Google and search some of these companies that is generating energy. Try to find out how they work, what are the problems they have, what kind of issues they raise, that kind of a thing. Look at your 3 pass cards if you have. Look at your P3 pass cards if you have. Look at your E3 pass cards. Anyone, if you don't have any of those things, I'm going to share with you all any of those things. So you can always note down my email. Premakumar55@gmail.com. You can send me at any time and we will always support you with whatever. Right. So simply these few steps, I want you all to follow it up. I want you to think you're working in this company all the time. So now let's look at this company again. So essentially, this is a consultancy company. They are not generating power. They advise others about generation of power. And if you have read this company very well, I believe you have read it, you will see they are doing very well. They were formed 15 years back by 4 academics, 3 academics and a lawyer. So you can see to a great extent they don't have the business skills because they are academics, So you know a difference between an academic and a business professional, but surely they would have gathered some experience over a 15, 16 years time. But in my view, in one of the variants, surely they will ask you about the recomposition of the board. So look at your corporate governance principles. The board must be very effective. What do you mean by effective? It must have diversity. So in this board, you see the 4 founders, they are the people still holding the positions, but there are some executive directors like Fiona and the marketing director. But you can see initially when they formed the company, the founder 4 directors have 25%, 25%, 25% shareholding. But now it looks like they have given some shares or expanded the company. Probably they are given shares to the employees because you can see there's a share option thing working through. And also maybe we do not know, there may be outsiders, but it is essentially a private company. It's not a listed company. So one probable way, maybe they might want to go for listing because the company is 15 years old. The 4 founder directors are now getting aged and probably they want to get out. Maybe they want to expand. They may need money and they might think of going for listing. Now there might be a question asking from you, Rudolph, should we go for listing? Now you must look at from different angles. This is what I say. Right? In a way, it's a good to go for listing because you can get expanded. You will be more recognized. Your company profile will go up, and your status will go up. You can attract good people because it's a consultancy firm. The success or the failure of the company will depend to a great extent on having good people. So it will be a critical success factor to retain, attract, and motivate good people because you don't have too many plant and equipment. You are essentially a consultancy firm. You need a lot of engineers, and we can see some of our engineers have experience on project management because you will manage others' projects. Essentially, we would have seen in this company one thing that you are predominant with the windmill operation. That I want you all to note it down. Right? You are essentially predominant with the windmill operation. In fact, in your SWOT analysis, I put it as a weakness. As a weakness, strong focus on wind power. If you read this pre-state very carefully, you will see for last 15 years, they have only done wind power projects. But examiner is giving you 1.5 pages of alternative energy. Like solar, like biomass, so many other alternative energy. So he is not giving you anything just for fun. Surely there will be some questions on that area. Remember, your company name is Alternative Energy. But what have they done all this time? They have only done windmill, right? Only the wind power they have been doing consultancy by. So they seem to have not expanded. If you look at the model, the ends of matrix, existing products, new markets, existing products, existing markets, existing products, new markets, new products, existing market, new products, new markets. They seem to not have done any of those things. So you can see this company, even though they are making profits, you can see they lack something. They lack that entrepreneurial capacity. They are not doing too well on that side of it. So maybe it's a good thing for them to have a CEO. Right at the moment, that their CEO is one of those founders. He was working to the one of the sections, the engineering section, and now recently they have appointed him as CEO. So probably up to that point, even they would not have had a CEO. But the question is whether we should hire an outside CEO. So these are some of the thoughts that is coming into me. Sometimes Luke might call into your office and ask, hey, Walil, what do you think? Should we recruit a CEO? Now you must think about it. If they say recruit a CEO, some of the practical problems you might have. I was working in a company in Sri Lanka, and it was a family concern, just like this. Here, even though it's not a family concern, here it is 4 friends getting together, and they wanted to recruit a CEO. So I said, it's all right. But I asked, are you prepared to give him the freedom to decide on the strategy? Are you prepared to give him the freedom to decide on the strategy? So most of the time, what happens is in this kind of company, you might recruit a CEO for the sake of name, but you might not give him that kind of this thing. Yeah, I have to give Ahmed also the same story. Yeah. Right. So I hope Ahmed will connect it to the computer sound. Yes. Right. So that can be an area that can be tested. So I want you to look at CEO. Take an outside CEO unless you are going to give him the freedom to decide on the strategy you support, but you allow him to run it. But if you tell, look here, we have been running this company for 16 years in this way, and this is the profit we have been making, and that's not good for that man, right? You will be just only spending money. So when you are advising the board, you must always think about the board mentality, because you know the board mentality very well, and you will inform the people in that way. So that is the role that is expected of you. And always in these cases, you will have some ethical issue. Things like, it can be a very pure ethical issue like employing child labor or something like that. It can be some not treating your employees properly, not looking after, not caring for their health, and that kind of thing. That can be a problem. And also there may be certain issues like, procurement. You are doing consultancy. You might marry or you might get attracted to a particular window, and all the time you will be trying to give them the support without without looking openly. As a consultancy firm, you must never get attached to a particular window. You must be open, because you must look at from the client's point of view what is best for the client all the time. Right? That is what you should be looking all the time. Few thoughts which came into my mind on this paper, but how much? Okay, sorry. So there are three sections in this company: public relations, one-stop shop, and the other one is legal. These are the areas where they do consultancy. Our four friends have formed the company. They have gone a long way and they have done a lot of work. They are given a lot of information. But what I said was simply, most of the time they will have something to do with the alternative energy. And also, anytime when a new proposal comes, you will be all the time asked about the new proposals. Whenever a new proposal comes, you must evaluate the proposal. So to evaluate, we have a very, very good model. I hope you all know this model. If you all don't know, you must try and get this model. I have put up an article on the Dropbox on this one. That is what we call Johnson and Scholes. Feasibility. We have another student who has come. They have not been able to get this. Okay. So this model can use all the time, particularly in this paper. One thing, in a way, it's a good advantage. I don't know, but no calculations. In the top CIMA paper, you have to do a lot of calculations, but here no calculations. All the calculations will be done by the examiner. You only have to interpret the calculation. So they might give you an NPV project and ask whether this is the right project for us to go through. Just because the NPV is positive, we will not say yes, it is good. Just because the NPV is positive, it may not be good. You have to look at many other factors. The factors like whether it is strategically fit with your organization, whether it is something ethical for you all to go through, whether it is in line with our strategy. That is what we call suitability. If just because it's financially good, yeah, Ahmed, now I think you are all right. Can you hear, Ahmed? Yeah, now you can switch off the video. You will be all right. Switch off the video, then you will be better. Okay, right. Shilpa has still not been able to get it. I don't know. Okay, right. So basically, you have to look at all the time the acceptability. When it comes for acceptability, it is from the stakeholders, primarily your shareholders. So here you can use the Mendelow's matrix to analyze your stakeholders. People who are high power, high interest, high power, low interest, low power, low interest, high power. So look at the four categories and try to analyze. So these are the homework what you can do before the exam, so that you know whenever at the exam date, when you have thought about some person, look, oh, that man is a high power, high power, high interest man. That kind of a person, right? Feasibility is all about your resource availability. Just because you get a new project, you can't do the project unless you have enough money. This company you would have seen, financial statements are 31st March 2016. So we are sitting for the exam in August, and in about 5 months' time we are sitting for the exam. and we will see in our financial position statement, we have only 4.2 million money in the bank account. 4.2 million money we have in the bank account. So that's not lot of money. But if you really recall, you will see last year they paid a big dividend. Now I want you to note down this figure. I hope you will do this one, because these are very good information what we discuss now, which will become very relevant for you when you are looking at patient. They paid a very big dividend, 103.6 out of a, just a minute. Any one of y'all can assist Shilpa how y'all got that sound place. Because I came to the direct one. Shilpa is trying to join. Yeah, Rahul, can you write on your chat box how you got that sound? I think you have to just click that connect sound, is it? Has she gone? Okay. So you can see, yeah, you can see they paid a big dividend. So after paying a big dividend of 103, they have only 4 million. So 4 million is not a lot of money. So if you get a new project, you might want to see how they can finance it. Now remember, this company for the moment is a private company. So because of that, they can't go to the public and raise share money. This is why I call business scale. If you just suggest to the examiner, they can go public and raise money, that's wrong. Unless they get listed and they go, they can't raise money through share, they can't raise money through share issue. Only way they can raise money, if you look at the gearing, so this is very important information that I'm going to give you. Look at their debt plus debt divided by all the, yeah, right. Let's see whether she's connected. Okay. Let's look at this company balance sheet and see as at 31st March 2016, what is the gearing. Gearing, as you know, debt divided by debt plus equity. Right? So debt is at the moment 9.2 million. Remember, when you are calculating gearing, you don't take the deferred tax because it is not a amount where you pay any interest, so you don't take that one. It's 9.2. Debt plus equity is your total capital 86.7 plus 9.2. As a percentage will give your gearing. So it is 9.2 divided by 95.9. The gearing is just about 9.5%. Normally, you remember, in a company, generally you are safe to go up to about 40% gearing. So it has fair it has fair amount of room to borrow money. So remember that one. So if they want additional capital, I think the way to go forward, is to go for loans. Yeah, give me a minute. Yeah. So second, I want to give. So I want you to know is that this company has fair amount of borrowings which they can do at the moment. For me, that's one way to finance them at the moment. The other one may be little things out of 4.2 million. They can just get some money out of that one because last time they had 3.7 million. So maybe about 1 million you can get it from this thing, right? But not anything more than that. If they want big money, they probably will have to go for loans. The next alternative, because remember this is a private company, the directors themselves may not have money to invest. So the next alternative may be next year you can reduce the dividend, but not this year. So let wait 1 more year till you make a profit and reduce the dividend percentage or the dividend payment out. And then the next one, what you can do is the last resort probably will be to go for a listing. But when you go for listing, you must remember all the time, listing means diluting your controlling power. You are inviting some outsiders to come into the company and that can make matters little bit tough for you all. So you have to be very careful when you go for listing. And listing means lot of regulations. We do not know this country Brisbane, what kind of regulations is there in the stock exchange, but whatever it may be, you may want to have certain regulations complied. You may have to appoint certain non-executive directors. So many things to be done. And all those things can be very costly. Right. Shilpa, now you can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank you, Shilpa, because I told Anju also to help you. Yeah, we still have, I think, 1%. Nagaraju still not been able to connect. No, he will also connect. Okay, so we are just going through a little bit of motions of this case study, just to get the ideas right on all these matters. Now, I think I have done fair enough. Every time when I start a class, I will go to these areas. Whatever the new things that I come across, I will do it with you all. But now, it's time for me to go straight into the question now. Any questions that you all have before I go into the mock question which I have put it for you all? Rahul, have any questions? Walid, any questions you have?
No, not for now.
Okay, right. So, is it all right for me to go for a mock straight away?
Yes.
Yeah, because through the mock we can learn lot of things. So I'm going to start straight away with a mock for you all. And so this is a kind of a thing which I have developed looking at your past papers and looking at your pre-screen, which I believe, not necessarily that you will get the same question, but probable areas. So this is what I'm trying to do. Next couple of hours which we meet, we will try to look at many of these areas questions and see how we can answer this kind of a question. So here, you receive a mail from Fiona. Now, at the exam, you can go and find out who Fiona is. Of course, the pre-scene is available, but remember, you will not have time to do all that work. So the section 1, they say 60 minutes. So generally, my theory is, out of 60 minutes, spend 25% of the time allocated. So in this case, 15 minutes, who will spend reading and planning the answer. So you will be given a whiteboard or something at your desk where you can write all whatever your ideas that come up, because you will be writing your answer on the computer screen, but you will be given a whiteboard where you can put up your plan, and then with that plan in your head, you can do it. So remember, this is exactly what you will do in office, right? When you get an email, you are not going to, start replying immediately. You will think about it, read it. What is this lady asking me? And what is my role? And what should I do? So here, Fiona is writing to you, the senior manager. It's all about a new biomass proposal. So, Luke, remember Luke is the CEO. He's one of those founders. He's the CEO of this company. So Luke has received a proposal from BioAim concerning a proposal to develop a biomass power station in a state-owned land in Breezeland, closer to the main forest of Breezeland. So, if you have read the pre-scene, you will see this is one of the alternative energies what the company should be looking at. Solar. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, this is available in your Dropbox, Atir. But you send me your email. I will send you a copy. My email is this. You send me an email after the class. Right, okay. I will send you after the lesson email to you with the pre-scene. If I possible during the class also, I will try to send it for you, the pre-scene. This is a question which I have worked out for you all, and all my questions, there are 3 mocks I have already done. I will be doing more, and all these mocks are in your Dropbox, and you can look at these mocks there, and we will be looking at these mocks all the time. Right? So I'm going to look at least, I hope, I don't know how many mocks I can do in my session, but I will try to do as much as possible mocks, because I believe it is the mocks that is going to help you all the time. And one advice I can tell you is, you must start to write in your computer. Take a Word document out and write it. Because sometimes I have found students, they listen to me nicely, they are quite happy, but they don't write it on their own. And then what happens is, when you go to the exam, you don't know how to write it. So, I'm always available. It's not only these 2 hours what I do with you all. Anytime if you all write answer and send it to me, I will correct it, I will give my feedback, and I will help you all. Atir, I have just now sent you the email with the mock. Right? It must be there now in your inbox now. Thank you. Right. Right. So anyone who wants any support, we are prepared to give you all the support because my joy is to see that you all get through the exam. Last Dream Park case, I had 6 students and I was so happy I was able to get through all those 6 students. So it's a fantastic thing, these case studies. You must do a little bit of work. You must learn to write. If you don't use the computer and write it, you might find in the exam you don't have enough typing skills, enough speed, even though you know the answer. So, 15 minutes, if it is a 60-minute question, 15 minutes take reading and planning time. And last 5 minutes, keep it just to bundle it, that is to review the paper. Because before you send the email, I'm sure when you are sending an email to your finance director, you are not going to just rush it through. You will read it, whether spelling is all right, whether everything is all right. So you will review. Balance 40 minutes, you must see what are the tasks. So in a mock section, in a one mock section, you might find many tasks. Now, unlike in your normal exam questions, the examiner won't very directly give it to your mouth and say, Shilpi, we want prepare a consolidated balance sheet. No, no, no. It is, you have to read it. In between the lines, you must understand what are your tasks. And most of the time, the examiner report says the students have failed to understand what was required from there. They have written many things, but they have not written the relevant point. So don't get stuck to that one. So we will read this question line by line now, every one of you all. So yeah, I will give you about 5 minutes to read this question on the screen. So Luke has received a proposal from BioM. So remember, Luke is our CEO. Has received a proposal from BioM concerning a proposal to develop a biomass power station in a state-owned land in Breezeland, closer to the main forestry of Breezeland. So you have to understand what is biomass. Biomass is where the trees and the wood are burned, and then from that one you make energy, right? And as you know, for past 2 years, we have been keenly involved in projects that use other alternative energy sources, and biomass is one of those. And this is why I told you, examiner in the paper talks not about alternative energies. He says there are a number of competing renewable technologies. Wind power is our key market, no question about it. But they talk about many of the other things like wave power, that is sea water, where they will generate electricity through a mechanical power with the waves, the energy. Then we have something called heat pumps. Is for the homes where they use the normal air conditioning technology and try to heat the homes. Then we have the solar panels, which is somewhat common most of the time. Then they talk about the biodigesters. It's all about the waste that is being converted into energy. And then we have the biomass, which is basically the organic waste from the wood that can be converted into energy. You don't need to know so much of technical details about these, but you must read these papers very carefully and try to find out. So one of the projects that has come up our way is to get through a biomass project. And who is offering this project for us? This is coming from the government. This is coming from the government. And they are going to give you a state land. Now, one thing, you as a person working in this company, you will be very, very happy because the government has recognized your efforts and the government is prepared to come into a kind of a venture with you all to generate power. And they are prepared to give you state land, right? Looks like they have not called for other people. They are offering it straight to AEN. I want you to understand AEN has one big strength. If you read the piece, you will see AEN is the largest consultancy firm in Queensland. AEN is the largest consultancy firm in Queensland. That's another big thing. I would like all of you all to mute the mic because the background noise I can reduce as much as possible, which will help the others. If you can keep the mics mute. Only when you want to talk, you can unmute it. Amen. Prashant, if you can keep your mics mute, that will help all of us. Thank you. Thanks. Right. So, yeah, basically, what you can see is here is one of those. So, biomass is essentially wood and other organic waste that can be burned in a suitable incinerator. The resulting heat makes steam, which drives an electricity generator. Biomass is a renewable resource, right? So it is always, you can reforest and you can get the resource that is not a resource that will deplete in the short run. And biomass is a byproduct of the forest industry and it will decompose over time. So whether you use it or not, the trees will fall and it will get decomposed and it will it will have carbon dioxide emissions. But the protesters, for the sake of protesting, will protest saying when you deforest, that there will be, when you have a biomass project, carbon dioxide will come. Now that you have to counterattack and say anyway, carbon dioxide will come when it is decomposed. So actually it's a better energy source compared to most of the other ones. Arguably, the biomass is a byproduct of the forest industry. It would decompose over time if it were not incinerated to generate electricity. So in any way, it will get decomposed, and it can be argued this process is less harmful than oil. So if there's a protest coming up, you must be able to counter that when this kind of thing. So here, your finance manager, the finance director is writing to you. Luke has asked some thoughts about the merits of this proposal and whether this would be a strategic fit to us. Now you can see one of the requirements. This is where I want you all to do this one very carefully. Here you can see one of the requirements. So when you are reading, if you come across this one, if you spot this one, you will note it out in that whiteboard that is given to you at the exam center. You will know we must discuss about the strategic fit, right? Whether it is going to be a strategic fit. Then this project requires us to proceed on the basis that we would build the power station, sell the resulting electricity to the national generator, which has a number of coal-fired power stations, each of which is nearing the end of its life, and coal has to be shipped in, so we should find it relatively easy to guarantee sales. So here, the national generator of the Queensland or the electricity authority, they are using right at the moment the coal power, and almost it's at the end of the life cycle, and they have to ship the coal fire. So going for this kind of alternative energy, biomass energy, your AEN will be almost sure of the market because the existing power generation thing is almost at the tail end. So you are surely having a good market. But my question is whether it will be a suitable strategic fit for you. Now, one way I'm sure, I want you all to think about it. A good time for you all to unmute your mics And if any of you all have any ideas whether it is going to be a strategic fit, I will give my views, but I want you all to think about it and see whether this will be a good strategic fit for AEN. Krishanta, what do you think? Will it be a good strategic fit for AEN to generate biomass, to provide biomass energy to the national generator? Rahul, what do you think? Will it be a good thing or a bad thing? Rudolph, what do you think?
Kumar, I think till date, AN has been using wind power,
Okay.
which is abundant in supply, whereas wood power is something like if you keep on cutting trees,
Okay.
ultimately it would have some or the other impact. So the protest, I guess, would be more.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
You're right.
countering, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In a way, Rahul, what you said was perfectly all right. But, you know, business people, we agree, protesters must be respected. But just because some person is protesting, we are not going to get away. That's not the business mentality, correct?
Right.
Right? That's not the business mentality. We will face challenges. But whenever we face challenges, we will face it more vigorously. We are not going to, we are not going to trample them. We will respect their views, but we will try to counter it. Any proposal, we will have the protest coming up. Even the windmill will have lots of protests, right? You can see that when you read the pre-scene, you will see there are lots of protests about the windmill. Not in my background yard or something like. They have formed up a kind of a association and they are protesting. They are protesting their views are, blocked. They are protesting the birds can get killed because of those high-speed fans, all that kind of thing. They are protesting all the time. Right? I agree with you. Right? There can be protests coming up. I think in fact there will be a lot of protests because the forest deforestation is not something people like it at all. Yeah. Krishant, any idea you have? Rudolph?
I think that this is something new for these engineers. Maybe they'll have to recruit some people with specialized experience and knowledge.
Yeah. Yes, you're right, because they don't have any experience, but for 15 years, they have been dominant in the wind power generation. Right? So when it comes to the feasibility, we might have a problem. We don't have the human resource expertise, the technical expertise. Good thing. You may have to think of recruitment if you go ahead with the project. But my question is, will it be a good project or not for our company? Shilpa, any ideas you have? Shilpa, any ideas you have? Will it be a good project for our company to embark on? Wali? Yeah, Shilpa? What do you think?
It is one of the good ideas, but still company should think from this thing, their mission point of view, whether it will create, it will be a sustainable energy, or it will create wealth for the shareholders.
All right, very good. That's a good answer, I think. Because you have to remember, their strategy, their objectives. They are given two objectives for us. So whenever we think about any project, Rahul, we must think about whether the project is in line with our strategic objectives. So remember, what are their strategic objectives? This is why I'm going up and down on the case study, because at the exam you will not have time to go up and down.
Page number 10.
Yeah, page number 10, right, okay. Yeah, good. I'm happy that you all read this paper very well. So there are two major strategic objectives: create shareholder wealth, encourage the use of alternative to fossil fuel. So from that angle, if you look at, subject to a good NPV calculation, if it is going to create shareholder wealth, it is going to achieve one of our objectives. Surely it is going to encourage use of alternative to fuel, which is another objective. Both these objectives should still fit with our strategy. Having said that one, my main concern, Shilpa, here was all about this company. We are not really a power generator. We are consultants. We are the consultants for others, for help to help them to install their windmill and to generate power. We have never generated power on our own. Understand? So remember that one in this question. But having said that one, I think it's a good opportunity for us. 15 years we have been doing consultancy, right? So this is a new opportunity where we have a new market to go into the power generating market in the hands of matrix, right? It's a way, it's a room open or a window open for us to grow, which was not there earlier. So I want you to look at from that angle also. So whenever we talk about the suitability, acceptability, feasibility, we should be looking from different angles, right? We must, the pluses, minuses, all that you must put it up. You should never, get carried away just because it's a project. You are an advisor. You are a person who advises the board. You must be very broad-minded. Now, on the other hand, look at what happens from an ethical aspect. If you go and join this project, you are generating now power. All this time you are a consultant. Now you are generating power. Now you have a kind of attachment, a love to this business because you are going to get money out of this one, right? So you have a love for this business. So this may be somewhat conflicting. It may be conflicting with your client's interest. Client may want wind power. You might say, hey, why don't you go for biomass? Because now you have an interest, you have a conflicting interest. So that can cause few problems, because as a consulting firm, you should never get attached to a particular source of energy. Neither you should get attached to a particular supplier of energy. You must be very open. You must look at from the client's interest all the time and give the best advice to the client. So I want you to, I'm not really trying to answer this question. I'm trying to broaden your thinking. When you want to answer a question like this, all these points it must come into your head. Sorry. Now all these points will come into your head if you are very relaxed in that exam environment. I encourage everyone to be relaxed. Don't think this as an exam. Think you are working in the end. You come early morning, Fiona sends a mail, and now you have to start answering. You will use your knowledge, the models, the SWOT and the Mendelos and everything, put up that one to support because you are a professional, but ideas must be a free flow. 70% of this paper, I would say, common sense. So please don't keep common sense at home and go for the exam. Take the common sense to the exam. Because this is your real practical things. When you go to a board meeting, you are not going to open up the F3 book, Kaplan. You are not going to open up the P3 BPP book. What you have learned, you will try to apply to that particular scenario. This is exactly the way for you to approach this exam. While you sat for the exam 2 times, I'm sure today you will agree with me. Some of these things what we are learning today will help you in your exam tactics. Agree?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, right? Because you have to be very practical. Otherwise, you go with so much of stress. Oh my God, how to finish up the 3 hours and get the 90 marks and come, I can guarantee you will not get the 90 marks. But go with a very relaxed mind, do all your homework, do all the homework, like Shilpi said, you must know that because in the page 10, before you go, you will know that there are major strategic objectives, all that, take all those things and then, let the free flow come into your marks and spend 15 minutes, as I said, then start writing your answer. So anyway, we are still not read the question fully. So we are talking about the strategy. That is one thing they want. The project requires us to proceed on the basis that we should build a power station, sell the resulting electricity to the national power generator, which has a number of coal power. So easy to guarantee sales. In other words, we have a ready market. If we go and start this project, we are almost sure our national generator, the Breezeland national generator, will buy entirety of the power that we generate, because the power that they are using at the moment is going out of stock. The power generator has indicated that it would be possible to negotiate a 3-year contract in the first instance. So this is what we call a private-public partnership. Private-public partnership. The private sector is joining the public sector in a partnership. And the agreement is initially for 3 years. Now, you being the AEN advisor, you must be fully aware that in the Breezeland, the governments can change and what can happen after 3 years. Okay, first 3 years you sign it. If the government changes after the first 3 years or maybe after 2 years, what will happen to the agreement after that? Will the new government stick it to, or will they just say forget about it? Political risk. We must understand always there's a political risk with a project like this, because the public can protest, because these are very sensitive projects for the environment. Deforestation, forestry, because the people can protest saying that they have beautiful views, their retirement life is completely ruined by AEN. That kind of a thing can come up. So you have to be very careful. Whenever we think about this kind of a project, we must think what is our government stability. Now in a country like Singapore, it's very much easy because there's so much of political stability in a country like Singapore. But a country like UK, you never know with the new Prime Minister what she is going to do. In a country like Sri Lanka, we are not sure when a new government comes what is going to happen. So here Sri Lanka, we had a change of government in 2015. There was a Chinese project that was started with the Chinese funding. The Chinese government started a project to reclaim sea and to do a kind of a project, what they call a port city. They want to reclaim the sea and put up a new city in the beautiful town of Colombo in Sri Lanka. The people who were in the opposition in 2014, they said, if we come to power, we will stop this project. So the previous government has signed it and they said they will stop. But even in 2014, I realized even if the opposition comes, they will not stop this project, because Chinese is such a powerful government. We need China support. The government in power will never want to antagonize the Chinese government. So,
strain यार इससे यूपी ब्रिटिश क्यों हुआ? तो कहीं कम से कम ओवरलोड है। ये अपने सारे मार्क्स के सवाल है, तभी खा जाएंगे कल। यूपी में इसकी सेना है, बेटर अभी वो इकोनॉमी को भी सोचेगी, पर वो फ्यूचर की लॉन्ग टर्म में जैसा स्टील मिल है, स्टील में ये कहते शोगल में भेजने का वो ठीक से जांच होती है।
Sir, can you keep your mics mute, please?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you. Right. Yes. At any time, if you all want to speak, you can unmute the mic and speak. You are welcome to ask any questions at any moment, or you can put it on the chat box and I will answer you. Thank you. Right. So basically, I was telling you about that project. But the new government, there was a change of government. The new government came into power. the people who were in the opposition who said they will stop the project, as soon as they came into power, they decided to go ahead with the project. Because they knew Chinese government, such a strong government, you can't fight with them, and they thought they will go ahead with the project. So, actually, I'm advising the new Prime Minister of the country. So he asked me, Kumar, how can we get away from this problem? Because we told we will not go ahead with the project. But now we have decided to go ahead with the project because the Chinese, the Prime Minister or the President spoke to the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka and said, you must go ahead with the project. So the only way is to convince the public. So I said, why don't we get an international environmental, some impact association or some people to come and do an environmental impact assessment. And if they say there is no danger to the environment, then we can tell the public we can go ahead with the project. So always you have this risk of government projects, the government changing, new government wanting to do something totally different. So remember that one all the time. So here the contract is initially for 3 years and then it will be extended by subsequent 3-year contract subject to price and performance. Now you can see when it comes to the next 3 years, the extension will depend whether you have performed well, no performance criteria so far. So the government can later on turn back and say, look here, you are not performed. And also the price. Now the price is a very sensitive factor. Now you probably want to do an NPV analysis for the entire 6 years. So, but to do that, you must have a price. At what price we will sell it on the 4th year, 5th year, and the 6th year. Most of these power generation projects, what happens is, initially there is a shortfall of power or a short supply of power, and the government will buy it at high rates. Later on, when it comes for the renewable contract, the government will say, we have enough power now, we don't want your power, or we will buy it at 50% less. Sri Lanka, this has happened to many private power generating companies, and they are struggling. First 6 years, they signed a beautiful contract, and the financial analysts thought they will get the same rates for the next 6 years, worked it out. But when it came for the renewal, they said, look here, we are not going to buy it at this rate, we will buy it at 40% less than the existing rate. You give it, or otherwise forget about it. You are at their mercy because you have done all the investment, capital investment, thinking that the project is going to be 6 years, after 3 years. So this is a big risk. It's a big risk that we have. So we have to look at that one also. We would be responsible for building and operating the power plant, and we would also have to pay 50% of the cost line for connecting to the national grid. Now you will realize, agree with me, this means a very, very capital intensive project. We have to build up the power plant, right? We have to operate the power plant. We can sell the power to the national generator, but even the 50% of the cable connection, we have to bear it up. So huge capital expenditure. So if you are advising to Fiona or to Luke or to the board, you must say, hey, project may be good, but do we have money? And as Shilpi said, project may be good, but do we have the resources? Do we have the people? So this is what is expected from you as a responsible leader. That is what we call leadership. After 6 years, we need to hand over the plant and the land to the power generator. So the project's maximum life period from you and me, it is only 6 years. So we have to do a 6-year NPV and see whether the project is going to be a positive NPV. If it is so, it's all right. If it is not so, it is not all right. So now you can see another thing what they are asking. Asking us, please draft a briefing paper to present to the following. So please draft a briefing paper which I can present to the board. So most of the time your question will be a briefing paper. Sometimes it's an email, most of the time it will be a briefing paper. How can we predict whether company net assets is likely to increase or decrease if we commit ourselves to this project? Now, in a listed company, immediately when you announce a project like this, the reaction of the public, the reaction of the shareholders can be seen because the share prices will go up or will come down. But for a company that is a private, there is no share price. So we do not know the shareholder response in that way. Because for a public company, immediately the share price will reflect. You remember in your F3, you would have learned there are three market hypothetication, strong market hypothetication, weak market hypothetication, and a semi-strong. So these are the three market reactions when you announce something. When you announce a new CEO is coming, share price can go up, share price can remain, or already in anticipation of the new chairman, share price has gone up, which is a strong market. That is, the people are very strong, they can predict what the outcome. Most of the time, it's a semi-strong market. When you make announcements, share price will move. Some markets are weak markets. Even when you make announcements, the things will not move. So I'm reminding you a little bit of F3, which will be very useful for a question like this. Right. So then we have been asked to draft a paper. What are the things that we have been asked to draft it? Number one, how can we predict whether the company net assets is likely to increase or decrease if we commit ourselves to the project? That is one more task. What is the response of the shareholders, including non-controlling shareholders? Another task. Most of the time the examiner says, students don't understand the task. You should identify the challenges associated with the project and indicate how we might address it. Another task. Okay. What are the long-term risks associated with future revenues from the sale of electricity? Because you are signing a contract for 3 years. After 3 years, what are the risks that will happen? Another task. And how we might manage this. Risk management. Risk management. Remember, there are the risk management strategies. There are 4: transfer, avoid, reduce, exit. TARA. Transfer, avoid, reduce, exit. So, good for you to, refresh your P3, refresh your F3, refresh your E3. So we can see, first of all, we must answer whether it is going to be a strategic fit. Now, what I want you to note down, at the bottom part, it was very easy for us to identify the task. But here there was another task that you might omit it because it's not in that bottom part. You might think, oh, that's not, no. That is also because he's asking to get the thoughts whether the project will be a strategic fit. So that is a one task. So there are 2, 3, 4, about 5 tasks. So as I said, the question is 60 minutes. Question is 60 minutes. 15 minutes you will take to read this question and understand. 45. I will give 5 minutes to review my answer. I'm writing to my finance director. So I want to see whether everything is nicely done. 40 minutes. There are 5 tasks. So probably I want to spend 8 into the 5 tasks. That's a judgment I have to use it. Sometimes I might think I will spend 6 minutes here and spend 10 minutes here. But I must remember there are 5 tasks. I must manage my time. Unlike in the early exam, top CIMA, we don't get a kind of time in because normally earlier exam when you have 3-hour paper, we know it's 100 marks so that every mark is 1.8 minutes. So if it is 25 minutes, we know we can use 45 minutes. But here, we don't have that kind of a thing. We don't know how many marks they will give for this one, how many marks they will give for this one. So ideally, we can make it equal. Right. Now, it's a baby now. I want to look at, I told you about the strategic fit. So the first of all, I want to see how you will start this answer in this one. Now, you're working in this company. Early morning, you get a mail like this, which is basically the government has recognized you and is offering you to join them in a big power generating project. Whether the project is successful or not is another story, but surely that will make you very happy. Reason? The government has recognized your company. Remember, we are the #1 consultancy firm. So as a person working inside the company, I will start off this one saying, hey, Fiona, I'm so happy that the government has decided to, offer a project like this. I want to congratulate the board of directors for your achievement. Now that is going to make Fiona super, right? That is what the psychological impacts of people. People like to be appreciated. So we must openly say so. I'm very happy that the company is, being recognized by the government. It's like a award. It's like a reward. Right? There are many other companies in the world, in Brisland, because the precinct says it's a very competing field. In a competing field, for them to come and say, hey, Joel, we want you all to join. We want to give you a free land, right? Free forestry land to do this project. Wow. That's something that is going to make. This is what I call the people skill. This is what I call the people skills. You must express your inner joy, put it on the paper. Imagine when Fiona reads it. Imagine Fiona is one of yours, right? If you just like, I received your mail and this is my views, and if some person says, hey, Fiona, I'm so happy about this one, isn't it a difference in the way that you put it and the way that she reads it? She will stand and read it. This is what the examiner is expecting. Your answer should be such. It must have such a tremendous impact. The person who read it, wow, Shilpi has written this. It's so nice. Automatically she will get up from her chair and read this answer. That's what you must try. And this is why I say, between today and the exam day, write many answers. Send me many answers. I promise you I will look at every answer and correct it for you all. Okay. Now, having said that, when I want to look at the strategic fit. So when it comes to strategic fit, remember, I have to give my model. The model what I'm going to use is remember some of these models. Constant scores, suitability, accessibility, feasibility. So you will say, I have decided to use the constant scores and Whittington suitability, acceptability, feasibility model to evaluate this project. That is what I will start off. So that way, I am making myself guaranteed I will get that 25% of the mark, or at least some part of the mark for that one. Right? So all the time you must start. You will all the time. You will do that kind of a thing, and to put the model right. Now I want to discuss what is suitability. Now our Fiona will of course know, because she is the finance director, will know this model. But don't expect Luke and the Peter to know this model. So you must explain what is meant by suitability in the project, in the model. Suitability is whether it is in line with our strategy. So when we talk about the suitability, we must talk both the suitable factors and both the non-suitable factors, right? So you must talk about all that kind of a thing. Suitable factors and the non-suitable factors. So looking at from the suitability, one thing what we can see is it is an opportunity for us to increase our shareholder wealth, provided the project is a positive NPV project, and also it is a project that will make we will pursue alternative energies, because right at the moment we have been doing all on the this thing, and that will promote alternative energy. So from a strategic point of view, it's a good fit. It's a good fit in a way, right? One. Also, it's an opportunity for us to move out from our consultancy into areas of power generation, which according to Ansoff matrix, many of the models. You know, try to put it up, of course, don't put up something irrelevant, but put up, you can put up. It's a new market. We want to generate power. So that way, again, we can say it's a suitable. Having said that one, I may want to qualify, because we are a consultancy firm. We have never gone into power generation. So that way, it may be unsuitable for us, because we may be in conflict with our client's interests later on, because we will be more interested and the people may perceive us to be a kind of a power generator and no longer kind of a consultant. Consultant means you must be free, right? If I'm a consultant to you, I must be free to discuss anything and everything. But if I'm working for Kaplan, I will be only talking about Kaplan material, Kaplan study text, Kaplan box, all that. But if I'm a consultant, I'm free, like what I'm doing today. I'm not bound by Kaplan, I'm not bound by BPP. I can speak very openly. But if I was working for Kaplan, I will have to be stuck to Kaplan policy. So the consultant is that. Consultant means you are free. You can, what is best for the company, best for the client, you can offer. So that is the suitability. I will talk like that. Then I come to the acceptability. Again, you must remember, although you are writing to Fiona, because this will discuss at the board meeting. So you must talk about what is acceptability. Acceptability is all about the stakeholders' acceptability. The primary stakeholder is the shareholders. But they are not only the stakeholders, there are many others. Employees, unions, particularly here the government, particularly here the environmentalists, there will be many stakeholders. We have to look at the acceptability from their point of view. Now, from shareholders' point of view, so long as the project is going to be positive NPV with a proper sensitivity analysis, because I want to do a sensitivity analysis, you don't need to do calculations, but you must talk about the sensitivity analysis. That is a model, because maybe after 3 years, your revenue might drop. So because of that, you must do a sensitivity analysis. What happens if the revenue drops by 25%? Yeah. So that kind of a thing, you may want to discuss it. And with that kind of a sensitivity analysis, you might want to talk about the shareholder acceptability. So long as the project is positive NPV, so long as it is going to be somewhat, even with the sensitivity is good, that will be acceptable to the shareholders. What about the employees? Now remember, our employees, most of them maybe their experience is in the wind power generation. So maybe we have to train them because they may not be properly okay to do a project like this, and that may be another problem. And then we have the lenders, very important, right? Another stakeholder, lender. This project will need lot of funding. Will it be acceptable to our lenders? Lenders might say, we don't have enough experience on this kind of a project, and therefore they may not be interested. So we may have problems. We may have a big challenge to get money for a project like this. Consultancy people will give us money because we are experts on consultancy, but not on a project like this. So there may be certain issues on that area. The government is giving us land, all that, so they will be quite happy. So the government will be happy if we accept the project because they are offering it to us. Environmentally, there can be lots of protest from the environmental. So I don't know whether you will have all the time to write all these things, but I'm discussing all these things. So, not that every question will have all these, but whenever a question comes, I want you to think from different angles, but you will write only for 7 or 8 minutes. Stop there. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Because otherwise you will be writing 40 minutes on one area, and the maximum marks you can get will be only 25 marks, or 33%, 30 marks, and you may not get the entire marks. So you must try and address all the tasks. So don't overwrite. Just write for 7 minutes, stop it, go for the next one, stop it, next, go, because it's a Word document. You can come and insert it later on. If you find that last section you don't have enough time, 7 minutes to write, you only need to write for 3 minutes, so 4 minutes you will come and use it in that same Word document to write something more. But don't overwrite. When it is 7 minutes, stop it, go. That is the time management you must do in this paper. Okay. Now, so that is the acceptability. Then what about the feasibility? Feasibility is all about resource availability. When I say resources, it's all money, technical know-how, technical knowledge, and also about people, human resources. So, I think someone said, we might have problems because we may not have enough expertise. So we may want to recruit more people. You remember in the board, we have people who knows about the public relations, who knows about the legal part of it, who knows about the engineering part of it. But power generation, like windmill, we may even have to think of appointing a board director to look after this. Otherwise, your main core function can get neglected. Now that is another thing I want you to understand. Most of the time companies, what happens is they start a new project, all their energy, attention is for the new project, they neglect all the earlier work what they do. Their core area they neglect it and they go and do some crazy thing, and the core area is also gone, the new crazy thing is also gone. So you must never try to divert your attention from what you are doing. Give it that to a separate knowledgeable party, delegate it, let them handle it. If you try to handle too many things, it's not going to work it. So that is one thing. Then coming to the financial resources, surely we have a problem because we have only maybe 4.2 million. That's surely not good enough. We need more money. And that money we have to find it, and only way we can think of at the moment is because of a low gearing. We probably can approach our lenders. Remember, already we have about 9 million loan, which is in our balance sheet. And that 9 million had remained in the loan for 2 years, I think. So doesn't seem to be paid even this year. There's a good opportunity, 9.2 million. There's a good opportunity where we can go for a loan. So that means if you're going for a loan, we have to look at from that part of it whether the lenders will be willing to give us. Acceptability will be a problem. We may have to convince them, all that kind of a thing. Then another area is our technical capacity. We are essentially consultants. We don't have any experience in power generation. So that's another area. But of course, we do have experience in project management because our engineers have done a lot of project management for others, our clients. That is what the pre-scene says. So to that extent, we probably have a resource availability on project management inside our company. Otherwise, that also we have to look at. So that's how I will look at the strategic fit. Any questions you all have on that area? Any clarification you require? Okay. The next one. How can we predict whether the company net assets is likely to increase or decrease if we commit ourselves to this project? Normally, we will know that by the share market response. But when it's an unlisted company, we don't have a share market response. The only way what we can look at is a good NPV analysis. Probably you may want to couple up with other investment appraisal techniques what you learned in F3, like payback, internal rate of return, accounting rate of return, and even you may want to do an economic value added. So you will just put up the models. You must show the people that you know. So talk about the NPV as the main tool to evaluate the project with a good sensitivity analysis, and also to talk about other evaluation methods like payback, internal rate of return, economic value added, accounting rate of return, couple up all those things to find out whether we can predict whether the net assets are going to increase or decrease. It all depends, most likely, the second 3 years revenue generation. What will be the response of the shareholders, including non-controlling shareholders? Now, this is where you will talk about the Mendelow's matrix. You will talk about the Mendelow's matrix. There are 2 categories of shareholders: high power, high interest. The 4 founder directors, still they hold a significant holding, so they fall into this category: high power, high interest. Then we have the non-controlling interest shareholders, maybe the employees, maybe some outsiders, we do not know because the company has not given too much of details. But whatever that is, there is another category that will be low power, high interest. So you have to look at from both these people. Now surely the high power, high interest people, they are in the main board. They will have all the internal information, inside information about the project, and I'm sure they will be all right with the information. Right? So they will respond depending on the project's suitability, acceptability, feasibility. But when it comes for the non-controlling people, they may not be having that kind of information in their head. They are ordinary shareholders. They may not know whether the project is positive NPV. They may not know whether the project is only 6 years old. They may not know whether the project is to be financed from outside loans, which can have impact on their dividends. So, because of that, you have to give some information to them. for them to know. Otherwise, they can't respond, right? They can't respond because without information, they can't respond. But you have to be careful giving information also. You can't give too much of information. It might lead to the competition. You might want to give information, but you should be very careful not to be over-optimistic. Sometimes what happens, the directors become very over-optimistic, and we will say we have signed an agreement with the government, this, that, and the other. Remember, still we are not signed. Still it is under negotiation. Long way to go. Anything can happen between today and this. So we have to be very careful whenever we give information to the outsiders, even including internal shareholders, never to be too optimistic. So that's something that what will be the response. Response will depend on the information that we can provide, but we have to be very ethical. We have to be full of integrity, true information, never to be too optimistic. CIMA Code of Ethics, you can use it here, and to give that information, and of course maintain confidentiality of the project because the government may have still not announced it. So sometimes you must not try to jump the thing because government, till you sign agreement, never put out anything. You might want to do that one. Then challenges associated with the project. That's the next part of it. Now, can you tell me, any one of you all, what are the challenges with this project? Yes. Any challenges that you think that this project will have? Yeah, Shilpa, Rahul, Vali, any challenges that you have on this project? Comment? Imagine that you are inside this company. What are the challenges, Ahmed? Yes.
Yes, I think mainly is the expertise in this project.
Okay.
Yeah, so there will be a difficulty in implementing the project and managing the project as well. Although we have some experience in project management, but the project were different from this one because it's in biomass, different from other previous projects.
Yes. That's a challenge. Yeah.
Kumar, I think we have covered most of the challenges in the answer above.
Yeah.
So can we just give the references to that instead of writing it back again?
Yeah. If you have already discussed and if you have written, don't repeat.
Yeah.
Don't repeat. If you have already written those things, don't repeat. Say that I have already written the challenge that I face. Always you can do that one. Right? And some more challenges. So I think you are referring to the challenge of financing, isn't it? Right? That will be a
financing,
environmental protests, lack of expertise, all are challenges. I have another new challenge here, which I have not discussed with you all this time. You know, imagine there are so many other competing firms in this country, Breezeland. When the government offers the project totally to you on an unsolicited basis, your competitors are going to protest it. Isn't it? Your competitors will protest it, saying, how come AN has been, offered this project? What about us? AN doesn't have any experience on experience on biomass. Why is government? So there can be some kind of a ethical implication arising. I want you to think all the time in this paper ethics, because the CIMA examiner is very, very focused on ethics. You can see in this question, she's not talking about any ethics, but you must raise ethical issues. There can be a little bit of ethical issue here, saying that the company is, have either influence or something like that, or the directors are friends of the government or whatever it may be. And another challenge, what I said, was about the political risk. The other challenge is the pricing. So these are the challenges we have. So how can we address those challenges? Some other challenges, at least we must talk about it. As far as the the competitors trying to say that you have got this project in an unethical manner, the best weapon for that is once you sign or once you agree, the government to make an announcement why they decided on it. Rather than we talking about it, it's good to get the government to make a press release about it. That is one thing that you might want to do. As far as the expertise is concerned, probably we might want to recruit people if the project is coming right. And also maybe financing, we might want to approach the banks, discuss, and particularly if there's a state bank, because with the government support, if there's a government-owned bank, it may be good to approach a government-owned bank because they will definitely support a government project and to see how they feel about it, the project. About the political risk, you might want to lobby with the opposition party and to see how they feel about the project. These are all the things what you can do before we decide to go ahead with the project. It's a big project, very sensitive, good project, but we have to be very, very careful. Don't go and burn your fingers. Then the last part of it, the long-term risk. So if the project is only 6 years, after 6 years the project is over. So it is a question of ensuring our revenue for the next 6 years. So on a project like this, what we must do always is to have a pricing formula. Agree. Predetermined pricing formula. So the government can't come back after 3 years and say, look here, we don't want your power. Decide on a pricing formula based on inflation, based on wages, based on various other commodities, whatever you use, taxes, all that. In another paper, it may be about the exchange rate, whatever. Decide on a predetermined formula. So it is now no more arbitration, no arbitrary, and always. And to cover up your risk with a government thing, it's always good to have an arbitrator. So you must put up all these things. That's what is expected. I don't think you can write everything in this 40 minutes, but I have done, normally I don't write, but I wrote one answer for this one. It is already in the Dropbox. Ahmed, I have already sent you the